With an 11th team joining the F1 grid in 2026, there are more seats than ever available for drivers who might not have made the cut for this season. Sat on the sidelines are some incredible talents with serious experience as F1 drivers, and those with spaces for next year have an unbelievable selection of people to choose from. One of the teams with some serious driver issues that need resolving for next season is Alpine. No one doubts the quality of Pierre Gasly. Despite driving for this season's backmarkers, he still pulled off a best finish of 6th and sits 13th in the Drivers' Championship. On the other side of the garage, Alpine has a problem. Franco Colapinto has looked more like the driver who appeared in Sao Paulo last season than the one from Baku. Switching back to Jack Doohan would be unlikely to improve things either. Alpine's best option is to look outside the organisation for next season, and Valtteri Bottas is someone who's caught their attention. But is Pierre Gasly happy about the move? And will it be as simple as just offering him a contract? Well, today I'll check it all out, so don't go anywhere. When Valtteri Bottas found himself without a seat for this season and back at Mercedes as a reserve driver, few thought he would stay there for long. With 247 race starts and 10 wins, Bottas has a huge amount of talent to offer to any team. To go with his impressive record in Formula 1, he proved at Mercedes that he will do whatever it takes to help his team. Having spent 5 seasons helping Lewis Hamilton and Mercedes secure 4 individual titles and 5 team titles, he's a dream come true for any team. After just half a year sitting in the back of the Mercedes garage, it looks like Bottas could be on his way back to a full-time race seat just in time for the exciting new regulations in 2026. In the past week, Bottas has emerged as a leading candidate for a surprise switch to Alpine later this year, should the Formula 1 team decide it wants to replace Franco Colapinto. Alpine's executive director, Flavio Briatore, who is currently its acting team principal, has approached Mercedes to discuss the potential availability of its reserve driver. While the discussions are still very early on, the fact they're happening shows a clear intent from Briatore. Despite the big bucks that Colapinto might provide through sponsorship, his performances are not good enough for the most cutthroat man in Formula 1. Bottas has made no secret of the fact he wants to get back into a full-time F1 race seat. There have been plenty of solid links between him and one of the new Cadillac seats that will be available next season, but a return with Alpine for this year might be more exciting to him. If Alpine only wants him for the remaining races this year, then it would be the perfect training run for next season. If they want him for longer, then Bottas has a decision to make. Mercedes have confirmed that they would have no problem in letting Bottas take on an F1 return with Alpine, especially as it will become a Mercedes customer from the start of next year. The rumours gained more traction at Silverstone when Bottas was asked if he was having discussions with Alpine executive advisor Flavio Briatore. "Yeah, you could say that," he said. Toto Wolff also confirmed that not only had Bottas talked to Briatore, but he had on more than one occasion. A few times actually, the Austrian divulged. "I saw him talking about Briatore today, and we talked about Valtteri. It seems that the interest in Valtteri is increasing even more." Wolff said that he would allow Bottas to go to Alpine should a proposal come in, not wishing to hold back a driver who obviously feels he still has a lot more to give. "He deserves that seat," he expressed. "If someone grabs him as a race driver, we'll let him go, of course with a tear in the corner of our eye." The Bottas to Alpine talk is real, and it looks like it could be happening this season. However, when asked about the rumours, Pierre Gasly completely denied them, calling any talk of a change at Alpine absolute rubbish. Before I talk about that though, if you're enjoying the video and want to catch more news and analysis on this F1 season, or catch one of our deep dives into what's happening in F1 at the moment, such as our video on the future of Red Bull now Horner is gone, then press the like button and subscribe to F1 Reverse. Thanks a lot. While Bottas and Wolff seem convinced that the Finnish driver could be set for an F1 return before the season is over, Pierre Gasly has denied the possibility of it happening. With the squad having faced a difficult campaign so far, which has left them at the bottom of the team championship on 19 points, 10 adrift of Haas in 9th place, Gasly was asked during the British Grand Prix weekend about the Bottas speculation and whether it could be useful for Alpine to have another experienced driver on board to act as a benchmark. "I don't think that's the case," the Frenchman responded. "I think it's a lot of noise. I think the car, I'm showing every weekend what we can do with it. doing a very good job on Saturdays and putting it in places that, on paper, we all agree we should not really be. It's just tricky. It's a very tight midfield, and we're at the back of it. There will always be noise, especially considering what happened earlier in the year. But I think at the end of the day, we should just focus on the work ahead. It's going to be a long season. We don't have upgrades. The car is not in the best place. But all of us need to focus on what we've got to do and try and do it the best way that we can. It's a tough situation for Gasly. He has scored all of his team's points so far this season, and if Alpine want to avoid the embarrassment of finishing dead last, they need to do something to turn their season around. With no upgrades coming though, the only thing that might help is a change of driver to someone who can score points. Doohan and Colapinto have so far failed to get on the board, but surely Bottas would provide Alpine a better chance. After qualifying at the Austrian Grand Prix, where Colapinto failed to make Q3, Briatore made it clear that he wasn't happy with the Argentine's performance. Clearly the car was good enough for Q3, but we are still lacking having two cars up where they should be, said Briatore in Alpine's press release. Franco was through Q1, but too far away to reach Q3, which we need to improve if we are to put ourselves in a more competitive position with both cars. With the rookie driver being on a race-by-race contract, Alpine have the freedom to make the call to cut him if they want and bring Bottas back to F1. They will have competition from another team though, and Bottas could be left with a massive decision to make. While Alpine could provide an immediate return to F1 for Bottas, they might not be his preferred option. With the team seemingly in a constant state of rebuilding, the odds of them being seriously competitive anytime soon are incredibly slim, even with the regulatory overhauling that will happen before the 2026 season begins. There is another gamble that Bottas could take, and it's potentially a safer bet, and that is with the newly formed Cadillac F1 team. Senior figures from Cadillac were in attendance at the British Grand Prix this month, including team principal Graham Loden and Dan Tauris, head of the TWG group that has become the driving force behind the project. The two were there to have meetings with the management teams of potential drivers for next season, one of which is Valtteri Bottas. Since early spring, there's been a lot of talk about potential candidates for the new team, and Sergio Perez was understood to have been in pole position. But the Mexican's absence from the scene has cost him, and he's no longer the only experienced driver on Loden's list. Bottas entered the Cadillac picture in recent weeks, and he's understood to be considered the stronger candidate. The key question is what criteria the team leadership will use to make their decision. If the intention is to have two experienced drivers, Bottas isn't in competition with Perez, they would likely be Cadillac teammates in 2026. If instead the plan is to pair an experienced figure with a young talent, then the choice will be between Bottas and Perez, with a Finn holding a slight edge at the moment. It's no coincidence that Bottas posted a teasing video to his social media feed a few weeks ago, in which he comes across a Cadillac SUV on the street. "What a nice seat," he said in the video as he placed his hand on the driver's seat, before adding, "I see there are two seats, both seem free." The cameraman then invited him to try sitting down, but Bottas replied, "Not yet." Social media exploded after he released the video, with many taking it as confirmation that Bottas would be joining the American squad for next season. But with Alpine now interested, Bottas's decision may not be so simple. Which team would you like to see him racing for next season? And do you think the rumors linking him to Alpine for a drive this year could be true? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and until next time, drive safe and bye for now.